Good job. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen for Infosparks, and that's the first part of what we're going to talk about. And then we're going to talk more about some of the things that came out of the Mike Ferry talk. So we'll do that. And let's see. Okay, no. Does anybody want to talk statistics or just me? Okay, a couple people.
I'm in.
All right. Screen 2, it says it's on screen 2.
I was told there would be no math.
Oh. Who told you? Who told you? I need to talk to that person. Okay. So, okay, let's try it one more time. It says it's on screen 2, but it doesn't seem to go there. Can you guys see this now?
We can see the Infosparks now.
Okay, you can see the Infospark screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the way to approach this is going to be the steps I'm going to walk you through. Of course, the numbers are going to change in about 10 or 11 days. But right now, this is what's going on, and this is my take on the market. This is why I've been encouraging everyone for the last 2 months or month and a half now, that anyone that wants to sell, that needs to sell in 2021 and wants to take advantage of the multiple offers and the crazy run up in the pricing needs to put their house on the market now, because the indicators are starting to show a bit of a slowdown. And this is, if you can't explain it to your clients, you're going to get yourself bogged down. And then you're going to have to do what this agent did yesterday, which is, call me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with the client in the room and say, here, Neil, tell him what you told me this morning. So that's cool. And I was able to do it, but don't put yourself in that box. That makes sense?
Yes.
Anybody care? Do you guys want me to talk about something else?
No, talk about
I don't know.
Neil,
I think they're somewhat disappointed that you told them not to call you and just close sellers.
What?
I think they're just disappointed that you said, don't call me, I'll close all your sellers. They just want to call and give it to you.
Yeah, that's what I did tell them that when they were trying to fight on the price for $5,000 or $8,000 5 months ago. And I said, stop fighting on the price. If you're going to fight on the price, call me. I'll take the listing and I'll take the commission. I didn't get anyone to call me, Robert. Go figure. Okay, here we go. So we're looking at a 5-year timeline. We're looking at all property types over here. And if you go to what's going on in the marketplace, and we're looking at new listings. Now there's a difference between new listings and active listings. Can anyone tell me the difference? Okay, well, this is an important point. New listings are the number of new properties that got listed in the 30-day period. Everybody with me? Okay. So for instance, these new listings are everything that got listed in the month of June. Because remember, Infosparks is working on the month before. Okay. It doesn't show anything for this current month. So new listings is everything that is the month before in a new listing that was taken. That's point one. Active listings are what properties are active. That includes new listings plus anything that didn't go pending in the month. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay? If it went pending, it won't be considered in it. Even if you took the listing yesterday and it went pending today, well, I guess that 30 days ago, sorry.
Neil, this will include the coming soon, or those are taken out?
That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. Okay?
Okay.
I don't know the answer to that one. But there is a definite difference between new listings and active listings. So right now, we're looking at new listings that came on the market in the month of June. Here's June. And the month before was May, and the month before was April, and the month before was March. So from March, so it's all of March, all of April, all of May, all of June. For 4 months, that's almost a flat line. You guys see it?
Yes.
Almost a flat line. It's almost unchanged for 4 solid months.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at, we had over here, we had July, August, September, October. We had a definite move from a high to a low. This was almost a complete solid line. In fact, I don't even, in a 5-year period, I don't see another line like it. Does anybody else?
No.
No. So it's kind of similar here in 2020, but definitely there's a definite high and a definite low. This is almost a perfectly flat line. So number one, the velocity of the market is slowing down. Velocity can be a rise up, and velocity can be a drop down. You get it? So the velocity is the speed in which things are happening. This is flat. The second number I want to show you, or you should show your clients, is the number of pendings. Okay, now we've got some difference. So the number of listings taken is slowing down for 4 months in a row. And the number of pendings, March, April, May, and look at this drop here from May to June, okay? So we're going almost straight down here if you take from here to here. So we're dropping the number of properties that are going pending, not closing. The number of properties that are going into escrow is dropping pretty dramatically. So the number of listings taken is fairly flat. The number of sales is dropping considerably. So what does that kind of tell you what's happening, you guys? Talk to me.
That means the property takes longer time to sell.
Well, that's possible. That's very possible. But would you say the market's slowing down or speeding up?
Slowing down.
Sales are slowing down. People aren't buying as many homes each month. You guys get it?
Yes.
And it's less each month. That's the story we're telling with the graphs. All right.
Neil, I have a question, Neil. This
Uh-huh.
is Chess. So a lot of in fact, one of the issues that we had a transaction and there's some issues on the inspection. Now, based on that, the buyer decided to kind of cancel on it. Now, what I'm hearing, what he said yesterday, I will wait until October, September, because what I'm hearing right now is that there is an increase. So we have, as a realtor, we have to be careful on what we say too, that he's saying that the inventory is rising, meaning that there's more homes in the market. And he said, I think for me, I will wait because what I'm hearing that the prices would really come down. So I will wait for another 60 days to 90 days until the market is really slipping down. How do you overcome that as far as, I mean, this is good if we talk to the seller, obviously, because it's time for them to sell. But at the same time, we have to also be careful with the buyer, because now they're putting they're pressing their brakes down and saying, you know what, I am not buying right now,
Right.
because the
Well,
market
yes,
will
yeah,
flip.
you're right. You're absolutely correct. So we're always balancing both sides
Right.
of the
Yeah.
equation. Okay. But you have to understand that, yes, the market is slowing down, and the people that are caught up in the, I got to get mine, I got to get mine. Yes, that number of people's coming out of the marketplace, and the number of people that are half the buys are there right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Watch what I'm going to show you. All right. Let's go to the active listings and look what's happening in the active listings. So we're right here is January. The active listings are dropping until we get to about April, flattens out a little bit, and then May to June, the inventory went up about almost 3,000, well,
2,000.
2,000 properties. So there's 2,000 more properties. Now remember, the issue, what's fueling this right now? Two things: lack of inventory. Well, probably three things. COVID, where people, I got to tell you something, people didn't spend any money. Now, some people didn't have any money to spend, but if you did have some money and you did have a job and you didn't make income, there wasn't a lot of money spent. You weren't going out to the movies. You weren't going out to dinner. You weren't buying any clothes. Like, I can't tell. I didn't buy a suit for 16 months. 16 months. I bought 10 pair of underwear and 2 Lululemon pants and a couple of shoes. That's it in 15 months, right? Do you know how much money wasn't spent in the economy that sits in your savings account or sits in your checking account? It's gigantic. So, it's like my kids wanted to go to Hawaii. Allison and a couple of her clients wanted to go to Hawaii for 3 or 4 days. And we could not find a suite, 2-bedroom suite for her and her basketball stars that started for under $6,000 a night at a 5-star hotel. Okay, the same stuff was $1,500 to $2,000, a year ago. The prices are nuts right now, absolutely nuts. So they're having the same problems that we are. So look what's going on in the inventory's rising, to your point. But what's really cool in the market right now? What's giving you all buying power?
Choices.
Well, choices, but what else? The interest rates are great.
Interest.
The interest rates are great. We're not going to see prices drop dramatically. We're just not. Okay? If your clients are waiting for 2006, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and the prices to drop 50%, here's what they're looking for. This is what they want. This is what they think's going to happen. See this? That's 2008. Look at the prices dropped. The peak was 571 and it dropped to 353. It's not going to happen. Okay? Prices will move. They'll get softer. They'll get harder. Okay? But they're not going to move like that. But I want to show you what have the prices been doing since that drop. Since January of 08, the prices went down pretty dramatically, right?
Right.
Since then, the prices go up or down?
Up.
Look at the trend line. Look at this trend line. Went up.
All the way up.
Is that due to inflation as well, Neil?
Well, part of it's inflation, and part of it is just houses cost more over time. When my parents bought a house, They bought a house, I think, in 1951 or 1952, or I think just after I was born. My dad and mom bought it FHA. Maybe it was VA. Maybe it was VA because my dad was a vet. They paid, I want to tell you, $7,000 or $8,000 for that house. The house is on Maris Avenue in Pico Rivera. It was a 2-bedroom. They added another bedroom and a bath. What's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house worth in an average neighborhood on an average street in Pico Rivera today?
600.
It somewhere in the 550 to 650 range, right? They paid $7,000 for it. Properties tend to go up in value, but there's times, look, we had back here in November 2012, it was 466 and it dropped $50,000 to 406 in basically 1 or 2 months. And then the prices went up again, and then we beat the they were at 466, and now 6 months later they were 515. So they took the drop and then they went up. Ladies and gentlemen, prices go up and prices go down, but the trend line is always what? Up or down?
Up.
Up, up, up.
Up.
Want to show your client what's going on? Show them these trend lines. Now, so I showed you pending sales. I showed you active sales where we're turning up. See, look, basically, look what's going on here. Since right about here, since February 2020, which is right around COVID time, there's March of 2020, we had our active listings. The number of listings that were active started dropping. There was a slight upturn here from September to October, but dropping until May 2021, where it upticked slightly. So from here, I guess you could even say from here, from September of 18 to May of 21, the prices continually trended downward. Now they're making a little bit of a turn up. So does that mean the market velocity is speeding up or slowing down?
Slowing down.
Sorry?
Slowing down.
Slowing down. Okay. Now you want to see why the prices are really slowing down? Right here. Before I show you that number, what's the average sales price in the CRMLS right now for single family home?
700.
Give me a number.
$1 million.
How much?
$1 million.
$1 million. Okay, anybody up or below that?
Is 700, around 750?
Okay, all right. So it's a number we probably should know, agreed? Single family home, CRMLS. Oops, wrong. Wrong number. $1,137,000. Is that sticker shock to anyone but me?
Yeah, it is a stick shocker.
That's a sticker shocker. Got it? Single family home up $1,137,000, and that's down from $1,154,000 last month. Sticker shock. If you include all the condominiums and townhomes and you look at all the properties, the average price is $1,018,000. So it's $100,000 less on average. So when you know this information and you can share it with your client and you can say to them, this is what's going on in the marketplace. But let's look at what really happened here. I don't know if you guys know this, but in January of 2021, the price was $842. In January, it went up in February to $906. That's a $50,000 increase. Okay? 1 month.
50,000.
1 month. It went in February to March, it went up to 941. That's about a $40,000 increase.
Mhm.
And then from March to April, it went up from 941 to $1,017,000. That's about a $70,000 increase.
Mhm.
So it went up, what's that? $300,000 in 3 months. That sound, well, that right now? 9 and 7, $160,000. Yeah, $160,000. 850 to $1 million is 150. Yeah, $160,000. And then from April to May, it went up $12,000. So is the velocity picking up or slowing down?
Slowing down.
Slowing down.
Slowing down. Okay, Mr. Seller, if you don't need to sell, take your house off the market. If you need to sell, if it's got to get sold between now and the end of the year, get it on the market, price it right, and let's do it today. Pretty easy explanation. Agreed? I feel like I'm losing you.
Agree.
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 Can
Makes
you-
sense. Makes sense.
Can you use this information?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes and
Neil.
no.
I have
Definitely.
Have to bring the laptop and show it to the seller.
Got it.
Neil, I have a quick question. What do you think is pushing or I mean, besides the low interest rates, what do you think is actually speeding up the process or encouraging buyers to just, it almost feels like they're impulsively shopping, which is great, but I mean, what's causing the,
Well, it's some of that, okay? But COVID-19 showed people they don't necessarily have to live near where they work. So people that, let's say, live downtown because they work downtown and they get a good job downtown, they can work from home. So instead of living in a $800,000 condo downtown, they can live in a bigger $400,000 or $500,000 home in Menifee. So the prices in Menifee are getting pushed up, and quite frankly, some of the prices downtown are getting softer. That's what happened to Manhattan. Okay, Manhattan got clobbered, but the prices now are kind of back. And that's what happened in certain cities. You know, you don't have to live so close to work, or you want to live where it's more rural, or you want your kids to be in a different school district. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons for this. I mean, they're selling everything they can list in Arrowhead and Big Bear. Why? You know, because people are looking for that kind of a lifestyle. And you can get into a mountain home for generally a whole heck of a lot of money if it's not on the lake. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on, Abigail.
Hey, Neil,
And go ahead, Michael.
when we talk to the buyer and we show them that between January and May, prices went up $300,000 pretty much on the MLS, you know, from January 1st to May, right? There was a huge
Well, that's
increase on home
it's
prices.
200, it's 850.
Well,
Hold on. It's $1 million. And
almost 300,000.
it's 250, isn't it? Yeah, it's 250,000.
Yeah, so when you talk to the buyer, like what Tess was saying, and I said, wow, in 5 months went up almost 250, and then you show, or you see the curve on the pendings going way down. That giving the sense of saying, if I wait a little bit, maybe I can recover some of that 250. I'm just saying, I don't know.
But that's, and that's a big maybe, because interest, what's one of the things that would slow the market down dramatically? Interest rates going up,
Interest
yes or
rates.
no?
Yes.
The interest rates go up a little bit, the cost of the home goes up, so they pay a little less for the home, but they pay it in payments over the next, people are living in houses 20 years, so you pay a little bit more in interest, so that the cost of the home becomes kind of the same. But you guys are doing the same thing that we always do. We always take it to money. Most people don't move for money, they move because they have to. Do you guys get that? They don't move because their house is worth more. They don't necessarily move because their house is worth less, as long as they have a job. But they move for life events. Why do people move? They move because somebody died. They move because somebody got married. They move because they have children. They move because they wanted to get close to mom and dad. They move because mom and dad are no longer alive and they wanted to move into another area. That's why people move. They don't move because the house went up or down. Get it? Most people. Some do.
Neil, what's stopping the feds from increasing the interest rate?
The economy would stall. Remember about 3 years ago, I think it was January and February of 19, interest rates approached 5%. And 5% is not a bad interest rate. And the sales of homes almost stopped. It was a very bad January and February. So right now the economy would stall, and they don't want to stall the economy. Look, the coronavirus is still with us. It's just an issue out there. They're telling us in LA County to put your mask back on. I was in the Walnut office yesterday. I had my mask on most of the day. And there was very few people there.
Cases are rising in California.
Yes.
And I don't know if you knew, only 51% of all California people has the 2-dose vaccine. Just half are fully vaccinated.
I don't understand not having the vaccine, but that's just me.
Hey, Neil.
Yeah,
Neil.
Michael.
Yeah, when you're saying about what it takes to the rates to go up, I think another thing that we need to look at it is about inflation. I think everything is so more expensive, like you said, not only travel, but a lot of things that you buy on the store or whatever. So if the inflation keep going up, they're going to have to do something with the rates just because of that.
Well, I think you're right to some degree, Michael, but remember, one of the reasons that prices are going up is that there's shortages on stuff. And there's shortages on stuff because the supply chain got all messed up for about a year. So, they say a typical house today costs an extra $30,000 to build because you can't get the lumber. Or you can get the lumber, but the prices are up X percentage. So if you started that way, I was reading someplace when we were in Vegas, that in Vegas, from the time you pull a permit or start the permit process to build a pool and you end up with the pool could be a year now, because shortage of materials, different problems that they run into, contractors, we were working on some contracting ourselves, and we had some contractors we wanted to use, and they were tied up for, almost a year. And so you had to either hire somebody else or not do the work. So the supply chains are messed up a little bit. That will get fixed.
Yeah,
And when it does, the prices will drop on those commodities like lumber, like transportation, like labor. I mean, it's hard to find people to work still because the government's paying them, not intentionally, but some people are making more by staying home than they are by working. It's crazy. It wasn't intended to do that. Does this help you guys?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's one person, maybe two.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
It's interesting when you see it
Yes.
visually, you know, the curvage coming up and maintaining its growth, that you can easily explain it. You know, numbers don't lie. This is what you're looking at.
Right. You need to make sure that you guys can explain this, please. Okay, because you're going to have people that are going to ask the same question you're asking. Why are the prices going up? You know, why aren't they coming down? What's going on in the marketplace? And the truth is that in a lower end price point, under $1 million, probably in the 5 to 7 or 5 to 8 range, you're not going to see any or hardly any movement, downward pressure on that, because that's a sweet spot. You know, people are buying those; they're paying cash for them. We have in the marketplace companies, hedge funds that are buying these rentals. They got a great return on them, and they have inflation, and they can sit with these for years. There's a ton of capital in the markets. And the markets went down a little bit last week. So there are some people that are pulling out of the markets and want to go someplace else. And that someplace else is real estate. You know, there's a lot of offers on houses. There's a lot of offers on apartment buildings. There's a lot of offers on trophy properties. And it's amazing what's going on. The only thing there aren't offers on are shopping centers, and those are low offers.
Neil, I think the question is, like you said, when somebody say, how come you had to pay $6,000 in Hawaii for a 2-bedroom when last year was $1,500? And people say, why is that much? What happened with inflation? So that might be part of it, because, you know, you have to explain why I have to pay that.
Well, it's a supply and demand thing. You know, remember, they didn't remodel or build any hotels for a year and a half. They stopped construction because these owners, I mean, the truth is that some of these guys were going to get clobbered. I have a friend of mine that owned a hotel in Nashville, his company, and I won't share the name, but it's a big hotel chain, and they paid $60 million for the hotel. They refinanced the hotel at one point during the good times for $160 million, and they rehabbed it. And then they had this $160 million hotel. It was doing well. And then COVID hit, and they had to end up almost giving the hotel back to the lenders because they couldn't sell it for what they owed on it. They eventually were able to, but at one point in the very beginning, there was no value on a $160 million hotel. How's that? Now, it's kind of come back, but you know, those of us that went to Vegas, you know, room service is different. They charge a little different. The prices for dinners were a little bit higher. Everything was a little bit higher, but the town was packed because everybody was wanting to go out. When that settles down a little bit, those people aren't coming to Vegas as much. We're not getting the prices for the houses that we won't, because we were not going to get those prices for the houses. We're not going to get those offers at some point in the near future. And you're going to have to explain that to your sellers. So don't overpromise and underdeliver on that stuff. Explain the numbers and you'll be ahead of the game. They still may not believe you, but at least you sound credible. That makes sense? You guys are going to run into it with how do you explain I could get $1 million for my house last month, and 3 months from now, I could only get $950. So everybody thinks they lost $50,000, but you know, the million was a mythy price. You guys get that? It's just like the $6,000 hotel room that they could get it now, but you know, a year from now, they're not going to be able to get it because the demand will drop. You with me, everybody?
Yes.
By the way, they didn't go to Hawaii.
Quick question, Neil. Do you, and I know you can't predict, but do you strongly believe that the interest rate will stay low till the end of the year or maybe the beginning of next year?
I don't think it's going to climb much because our administration, everybody's looking at that. The economy will stall if they ratchet it up too much, and they don't want that. Nobody wants that. Okay, nobody. It's not good for anybody. Okay. No, I see decently low interest rates, certainly for the foreseeable future, you know, barring a war or stuff like that. And if we have a war, then it's a different problem, or a conflict someplace. I guess they don't call them wars anymore. They call them conflicts, right?
Yeah.
So we might have a conflict somewhere.
A new PC word.
The what?
Neil,
Go ahead, Carmen.
you mentioned a few minutes ago, you said that 5% wasn't a bad interest rate. You're 100% right. I bought my first house at 11% adjustable.
Yeah, totally. I had on my house here on Peck in Beverly Hills, I had an 8% mortgage on it until I could start ratcheting it down. So 8% was, I could live with that at 8%. Today, agents on this screen right now would think 8% was usurious.
End of the world.
You know, Nia, I think the best way to explain that to the buyer is that once the interest rate goes up, right now they're actually paying more towards the interest rate as opposed to the principal. Because of the interest rate being low right now, they're paying more towards their principal.
A lot more.
A lot more. I think that would be the best way, because people who are waiting for the prices to go down, they don't understand that by having the interest rate to go up, they're only paying more to the interest as far as the principal. I think this is a very simple way to explain it.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
If I understood you
had a
correctly
thought.
the way it's explained. Huh?
I just had a thought. So we teach you that you have to counsel your client to understand that they're going to have to pay more than list price to buy a house and succeed in getting a house today. Are you guys with me on this?
Yeah.
Okay. We have to counsel them, and we have to get good at it. And we show them in the MLS the arrows pointing up where they get over list price for these houses that close escrow. We're going to have the same exact counseling in reverse to explain to them that, look, you don't have to buy now. If you're waiting for the prices to go down dramatically, it's not going to happen at the level you think it's going to. So if you have to buy a house, if you need something in a nice neighborhood and you need it in good condition, et cetera, I'm going to find you what you're looking for. What you have now is selection. What you have now is a good interest rate. What do you want to buy? You're going to live in it for the next 15 or 20 years anyway. And we're going to have to get good at selling that, just like you've become great at selling. Come on, think about it. You're telling us, a buyer, that $1 million house is not going to sell for $1 million. It's going to sell for $1,150,000. And you get them to believe you. Think about what a great salesperson you are. Do you guys get what I'm saying? This is exactly the same reverse. So don't worry about it. You're great salespeople. You're going to get this done.
Neil,
Does that help a little?
yeah, Neil, can you talk some more about the interest rates right now? I know you did a whole program where you showed, how much the people are paying on principal. And I've got some people that did something and their payments not only went down on their refi, but they're paying almost $800, almost $9 a month on a $500,000 loan goes to principal. So they're basically saving. You say it that way. Most people are going to be
Forced savings.
$500 to $600 or more a month by buying a house as compared to renting an apartment.
No, it's what they call a forced savings account.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. What you're talking about, I'm going to take a couple more minutes here and then I'll show you what you're talking about. Okay. So let's not do purchase price of $2 million. Let's do a $600,000 purchase price. Let's do 20% down. What's the interest rate today? Anybody?
How about 2.9? Just be conservative.
Okay. 30-year fixed, 1.25 property taxes. Is it a condo or single family home?
Condo at that price.
Okay. Okay, the purchase price is $600,000. The down payment's $120,000. The loan amount's $480,000. The interest rate is 2.9. The payment, principal and interest, is $1,998 a month. Everybody with me on this? Okay, so that's your principal and interest. Look over here on the right. Oh wait, you guys can't see this, huh?
Yeah, and we need you to share this screen.
Sorry, I didn't share this screen. Bad me. Bad me, bad me. Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so 600,000. And I'm going to spotlight this. So that's $600,000. Purchase price 20% down, 2.9, 30 years, 1.2 in 1.25 in property taxes. So the payment is $1,998. You go over here to the calculation, the payment is $1,998, but the interest is $1,100 and they're paying $830 a month in principal, a forced savings of $830 a month, and it increases every month. You guys see this?
There's no way somebody could save that kind of money every month trying to save up for a better house. No way.
No, you're absolutely correct. It's a forced savings of $800 a month. Most people who live in a $600,000 house on average don't save $500+ a month. Save. Okay? They just don't. You guys with me? Anybody with me?
Yes.
Anybody care?
Yes, yes, no, of course,
We
of
care.
course.
Okay. Herb, you find this interesting?
Neil, what app do you use to calculate
Hey there, Neil.
this?
Neil,
For
seems like
this?
the payment is pretty
Now,
high,
this is a Excel
33.73.
spreadsheet. Well, that's because of the homeowners
Yeah,
and the insurance.
500. I mean, that your negative cash
I don't, is
flow
the
right
homeowners 500?
there. Yeah. Sheesh, you
Well,
need to
then you
get a
can't
better
use that
deal.
house.
About 350, 360.
Well, no. Hold on. We do the calculations on the purchases at 30%, not 20%.
Well, it says 30% right
First
there.
of all, I don't. So let me change that to 30%. See what happens.
Why would you do 30 if all they need is 20% down?
Not for a non-owner occupied.
Oh, okay, you're right. If it's an investment property, that makes more sense. But you're still negative cash flow. Oh, you're not picking up any rent. Okay, never mind.
Hold on. So what do you think? What do you think that property should rent for? 2,800?
2,700.
So I wouldn't buy this because there's a negative cash flow.
Right,
So
okay.
what you'd have to do is you'd either have to put 35% down
Got it.
or get a better deal. But if you put 35% down, you're still $100 negative. So what if we paid $575 for this?
Oh.
Neil, I just wanted to say that's actually the rent's very low because I have a house in North Long Beach and we rent that for 2,800. So the
What?
2,800.
Yeah, you can probably bring it up a bit, maybe. That would make more sense.
Rents
are
There
that-
we go. Now you
So
got
if I
your
buy
cash
it for
flow.
$475, I put 35% down, I get that interest rate. The homeowners association is 500. I get 2,500. I have $100 a month cash flow.
Ê, ta già, ta có à?
That works good.
Ê,
I like that ROI.
And down here, you're getting 12% return on your
1个小
investment.
时以内过去可
Property
以
off
吗？
in 16
又在
years.
开会。
Got it. Very cool.
And that's what the game is all about.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what I'm just saying about the pricings, about the market changing, is still a good property with a good, condition and location. It still will have multiple offers and perhaps will go over. What I'm noticing in this market, because the demand is going down, the properties that were, they need a TLC or maybe they were in a bad area, they are not selling as fast like before, because there was a lot of demand, everything was selling. Now those people are saying, I sell it as it is. They're having a hard time to sell that way. That's what I'm noticing. But the good properties still get a lot of offers.
No, you're absolutely right, Michael. And that's why we have to know this information so that we can advise our clients accordingly. Good stuff. Okay.